You get paid dependent on how much value you bring to the marketplace. What do I mean by that? If we look at different type of jobs, what jobs usually pay the highest? The lowest is usually something that evolve around fast food. Let's say McDonald's, for example. How much value does a McDonald's worker bring towards the marketplace? Now, I'm not talking about a family member, a husband, a wife. How much value do they bring to the world? For the most part, you have to take people orders, you have to make the food, they got the machines already ready, and you just hand it to the customer. So that's why they're going to usually make from $8 to $10. Now they probably raise the price up, right? Now, if we look up some of the highest paying jobs in the US, you're going to see number one is anesthesiology. Did I say that right? Number two is going to be like a surgeon. So what type of value does a surgeon bring to the marketplace, bring to the world? You are literally saving people lives. Like literally you got to go to school. You have to do a lot of training to be able to do that. So they are making around $250,000 a year versus a McDonald's worker making $25,000 a year. So in this video today, we're going to talk about the value of the marketplace, focusing on flight attendants and pilots. Since I was a flight attendant for over 10 years, it's going to be an interesting one. Let's get into the video.
Black rose, black rose, black rose, black rose, black rose in the sky. Black rose, black rose, black rose, black rose, black rose in the sky. Black rose, black rose. Black rose, black.
Welcome back. Bienvenidos. Hi, la beautiful people. I am Lando Success, your favorite motivational teacher. The goal is whenever you come to my channel to leave knowing something that you didn't know before you came here. Before we do anything, you got to do some housekeeping. Press that like button. Also press the subscribe button. And this video today is brought to you by NoBSapparel.com. Once again, that is NoBSapparel.com, where you can express yourself with your gear no matter what's going on. Right now, I am rocking the Essential When Convenient hoodie. You can get that, and I'm also going to have like the shirts in the description where you can just go ahead and copy you one. So they have the jabs for jobs, they have the not vaccinated is vaccinated, none of your business. But I do like the Essential When Convenient. They even have masks. You can check that out later. So to get you guys hip to what's going on, American Airlines just basically offered their employees an extra $1,000 during the holiday time, because they know it's going to be a lot of shortages. They don't want people calling off. Now, in a company I used to work with, the way they did it from November 16th to January 16th, if you did perfect attendance, they would just give you like 2 points off your record. They will rarely ever pay you any extra money. But right now, the big airlines, American is starting trying to do it. Since I've been a flight attendant for years, on my Facebook, I've seen people that's excited that want to get the money. And I've seen people that said, hell with this money. So this is the article. American Airlines Pilot Union rejects holiday bonus pay and seek permanent changes. So it's the key points: American is offering bonus pay throughout the airlines and the subsidiaries for the holiday. That's like the smaller company. Flight attendants can get up to triple pay for working holidays and having perfect attendance. Pilots turn down an offer for 50% more pay for peak trips and say the airlines need to make more permanent changes to their schedule. That's very important, because usually at certain jobs, you can tell people you're going to pay them more and they'll be able to do it. Some pilots make a lot of money. So they're saying it's really not about the money. It is about the stress. It is about what's going on in the industry right now and the stuff we have to take. And it's actually not worth it. Y'all might need to pay us more, or y'all need permanent changes to our schedules. If we continue to read, it says American Airlines Pilot Union has rejected the company offer of as much as doubling pay for workers and trips around the holidays, a measure aiming at avoiding a repeat of the mass flight cancellations. We go down and say some airlines have struggled to balance the return of the travel demand and understaffing. American Airlines have canceled more than 2,000 flights in late October and early November after bad weather and cascade of staffing shortages. They didn't say anything about the pandemic stuff, the jab, but carry on. Southwest and Spirit Airlines has faced similar issues that have cost them $75 million and $50 million respectively. Vowing not to repeat the disruption, American has reached a deal for bonus holiday pay throughout the airlines, which employs more than 100,000 workers. The carrier will pay flight attendants triple for their trips between, remember that date I told you, November 23rd and 29th through that time. At a minimum, flight attendants who work trips over their period will get 150% of their pay. We, of course, are disappointed, and they say they stuff, and, let's talk about it. So before I talk about the pay, come on in a little bit. I want to give you guys an insight of how it is to be a flight attendant or a pilot. So I'm going to use my personal experience, for example, and people that I know that's similar to me. Now, I live in Michigan and I was based in Houston. So if my trip started at 5 p.m. today, right? So I start working at 5 p.m. today, I'm going to finish at midnight. If I'm a commuter, which I live in Michigan, I have to look at flights and I have to see which ones will get me in before work. And I have to make sure I take a certain amount of flights to be able to guarantee I make it. And if not, I'll be able to call off and I'll be able to be covered. So to give you guys a real example, I just looked at the flights. So for me to be able to use my commuter clause today, I will have to take an 8:50 a.m. flight on United, getting me in at 11:30. Remember, my flights don't start till 5. So I'm sitting in the airport for the next 5 hours before I start work. Remember, I start at 5. I literally had to catch a flight at 8, meaning I had to be up at 6 in the morning. So I got up at 6 in the morning. I drove to the airport. I prayed to make sure I can catch this flight. Remember, today is Friday, so if the flight's full, I'm not going to make it in. And once I get in, I got to sit in the airport for 5 hours.
5 hours later.
Before I start work. And once I start work, let's say I do 3 flights and I'm finishing at midnight and I'm starting my day tomorrow at 10 in the morning. That is kind of life, how it works. You got to think, even when I get off work, I have to do the exact same thing to get home. While you're doing the job itself, the job itself is not really hard. You are passing out drinks. You are doing customer service. So the job itself is not hard, or you're flying a plane, which, you know, you're going to get paid more because you're doing more. But let's talk about the details of the job. First, you have to be able to be a bartender because I am serving drinks. Second, you got to give that amazing customer service, and you have to know how to deal with irate customers that you are stuck with 30,000 feet in the air in a metal tube. Next, you got to be a counselor because you got to counsel people that's going to be crying. People just went through deaths. People are just going crazy. People irate. Then you have to be a martial arts specialist. You have to know how to de-escalate situations when passengers trying to fight or trying to fight you. And we didn't even get to the security part where you have to do the security checks of the plane. And last but not least is getting you guys off this plane safely within 90 seconds in case of emergency. If this plane crashes, we got to get you guys out alive, safe. So now let's talk about flight attendant and pilot pay, because now we know the importance of how important they are, because if we don't come to work, then you're not getting to your destination. And right now, everybody like to travel. So these airlines making a lot of money. So in my honest opinion, I think flight attendants and pilots need to get paid a lot more, but mainly regional. What is regional, Lando? That are the small airlines like the Mesa Airlines, the Southwest, all the little boys versus the Deltas and American, because they make a lot of money, but we're going to cover that anyway. Let's look into it. So first, we're going to talk about regional pay. So the company I worked with was Mesa Airlines, right? Now, we're going to do the 5-year pay. So we're not going to do starting off. We're going to do 5 years. So working with the company 5 years, you'll be making $26 an hour. Yes, that sounds like a lot of money, but remember, we are only getting paid when we're flying. So you're not working 40 hours a week. A flight attendant is averaging under 100 hours a month. That's on average. Now we're going to use the numbers based up on our guarantee. So I believe Mesa guarantee was right around 70. We're going to say 75 hours a month. So if you do 75 hours a month times 26 is going to be a little bit under $2,000. And you also get paid per diem. That's like $1 an hour whenever you're going from base. So after being a flight attendant for 5 years with Mesa Airlines, if you just work the minimum hours, you would be making right around $25,000 a year. You making as much as somebody that work at McDonald's. Probably less. And think of what you have to do to get to work. I know some of you guys gonna say, well, you can live at base, but I know like it's fun to travel around when you're younger and you can do it. Like 24-year-old Lando, it was no problem. I liked it. And I didn't need $1 million. But 34-year-old Lando with a wife and a kid kind of want to be home, and your financial responsibilities kind of change a little bit. So you say, Orlando, what about pilots? I know pilots make a lot of money because they go to school. It costs them thousands of dollars to be able to pay for it. Now, as a 5-year pilot, now we're doing first officers. First officers are the ones that sit on the right-hand side. The captains sit on the left-hand side. So a 5-year first officer is making $39 an hour, and their annual salary is $35,000 an hour. It's bad. It's real bad. Now, the good thing is once you finally get to the left side, once you finally become a captain, your pay really kind of doubles. So remember, this pay is just with Mesa, $71 an hour, and the annual salary is $64,000. So, you know, you're making a little bit more money. Now, remember I told you guys, Mainline is completely night and day. I get videos that break down the difference between Mainline and regional. I did that when I first started my YouTube channel. You can go back and check it out if you want. But we're about to go to Mainline as a flight attendant for Delta Airlines. So if you work for Delta and you're a flight attendant for 5 years, you are making $46 an hour. Remember, Mesa, I showed you $26. So you're making $20 more doing the exact same job. The only difference is you got bigger aircraft, you have longer flights and international destinations sometimes. Is it a $20 difference if you're doing the same job for the most part? Mainly should be like a $10 difference, $8 difference, but not a $20 difference. So if you're doing that, so you can kind of do the math, you really doubling whatever Mace was making. So if that was making $25, you're probably making $55 because the per diem is going to be higher, and depending on where you work, you can make more money. Now, the game changes completely when you are a pilot with a big time airline. We're just going to go to the big money. If you are a captain with Delta and you've been there 5 years, you are averaging about $250 an hour. $250. So yearly you're making $196 a year. So you're making close to $200,000 a year. Think of that. You're doing the same thing. You're flying the same planes as a pilot, but you got more buttons you got to press. But and to be honest, some of these regional planes are harder to fly than the big boys, but it is what it is. So now you see why some of these American airline pilots is like, we don't need the money. We need our contracts changed because you are working 8 to faint. We are changing our schedules nonstop. We got cancellations once you get to this hotel, just to find out, oh, the hotel rooms is full. The company didn't end up booking your hotels and you're on minimum rest. So now you got to push your day back tomorrow to get more rest. And now you're going to have irate customers, which a flight attendant's got to deal with. So it is a lot going on in the industry. I want to know, what are your thoughts? Should flight attendants and pilots get paid more? Because we are learning that the demand is higher and you're not going nowhere without a flight attendant or a pilot. Once again, this is sponsored by NoBSapparel.com. So make sure you click the link below or just go to the website and go ahead and copy some essential when convenient gear, or you can grab the other stuff. I'm Lando Success and I'm out. Since we found out pilots and flight attendants are a lot more valuable than we expected, I want to know, what's your thoughts? How much money do you think they should make? Should they make more money? Are they getting paid already too much? See, he messing with my microphone volume. Say what's up.